This lesson, we're going to talk about absolute referencing. Now, absolute referencing is a really cool technique we can use when we're building our formulas to help us build out a table much faster and to have it be more accurate at the end of the day. So let's go ahead over and look at our worksheet. We're on the Absolute References tab, and you should be looking at a table of customer purchase data with discounts. And it's pretty straightforward. We got purchases, price, multiply them out, and then we multiplied each final price by a discount, silver, gold, or platinum level. And we're going to build this table out. I've got it down below here, but we're going to do it with absolute references, and you're going to see how useful this tool really is. So let's scroll down just a little bit. And first, we're just going to get the discount amount for just the sales area to keep it really simple. So I will click here and I will click OK. And I'll say equals sales times, and what are we in? We're in E26 times the discount rate. So that makes sense. We've all done something like that before. If I double click this, you see how it has D27 times E26, and then that's our discount rate. Now what we used to be able to do is just hit Control C and copy that formula all the way down. Well, look what happens. It's crazy. What happens is, by default, Excel always copies formulas relative to where you are. So if I look at my first formula, it was the cell to the left times the cell above. So when I copied that down, look what that one was doing. It's doing 500 times E27, and that's actually $12. So that's why the discount's so high. And then this is 1,050 times 6,000, and then the numbers just keep getting bigger. So that's not right. So before we get rid of this and start over, I want to show you guys something again. Look at that formula, D27 times E26. There's nothing else on those cells, okay? It's going to be important in just a second. So now I'm going to wipe out this data. I'll just highlight it all, hit my delete key. So now I'm going to build that formula again, and this time I'm going to lead with a discount. So here I'm going to say equals discount times sales. Now before I hit enter, I want to show you guys something. I'm going to go back to E26, that's where my discount is, and I'm going to put a $sign in front of E and a $sign in front of 26. Okay, and hit enter. Still worked. Gave me $12 as a discount. Now what happens when I copy and paste it? Now it looks right. Let's try some of these other formulas here. Double click this and look at that. E26 stayed in place, but the other part of the formula moved based on where we were. If I click on another one, same thing. That discount rate is staying in the exact same place every single time. That's what absolute referencing is. You're locking down a cell in your formula. Now, a helpful tip for me was to think of these $signs you put in front of the column and the row header. Think of those as little padlocks that lock down the cell. Okay? So now, let's go down and see if we can build out this chart. Okay, so the first one is going to be just like the previous example. We're going to say equals 150 times that. Now, you can put a $sign in front of E and 43 with your keyboard, but if you're on that particular cell reference, if you hit the F4 key, it'll toggle through absolute references until you get the one you want. So there's no absolute reference, and this is full. And we'll explain the others here in a second too. So I'm going to go ahead and click enter. And now I'm going to copy that formula down. Awesome. I got the right discounts, stayed locked in place, multiplied it by the total. Perfect. So now I've got that formula. Let me back up here. I should have just pasted formulas. Copy and paste special formulas so that I don't lose my formatting. So now this is pretty simple, but you can see if this table went down hundreds of rows, that formula is much more efficient because it locks in that discount rate. And if I change that, everything changes. So now let's just copy that to the rest of the grid, okay? Let me do copy. And right here, I'm going to paste special again, and I'll just do formulas. So let's look into our formulas. Double click it. Okay, well, what happened here? Well, instead of the first parameter or number being the total, it's now the amount of our silver discount. But that's exactly right, because it was copied relative to where you are. So in this formula, it was multiplying 150, which is right next to it. So here, it's multiplying 12, which is right next to it. Now here's the other problem. Our discount of 8%, it stayed in place. We're multiplying the gold plan by the silver discount because we locked it down in the formula. That's not what we want either, okay? So here is where we are going to learn about partial absolute references. And again, just keep thinking the $sign is a padlock, okay? So if I open this formula up again, so let's start with the total parameter, D45. So as I copy this formula throughout my table, we want it to always be multiplying what's in the D column, which is the total, but we want the row to change based on where we are. So in this case, we need to lock down the column in this reference and not the row. Let the row be relative. So the easy way to do that is just click in front of the D and hit a $sign. And then the exact opposite is true of the discount. In the discount, we always want it to refer to row 43. So we'll put our padlock in front of that, and we'll take it off of the column header. Okay, so now you have two partial absolute references. I know that's a lot, but you can do it. I know you can. So I'll hit enter, and now when I copy this, let's try it. Copy and paste special formulas. This is right. It's multiplying the cell that's next to me by the discount. Exactly right. What about going over to the right? Copy that and let's paste the formulas in here and see if they did their job. Awesome. The 150 stayed in place, and now we're multiplying it by the gold discount. And the last one, same thing. The 150 stayed in place because we locked that D down, and then the row 43 stayed in place because we locked that down. Okay? So let's do one more thing with these before we're done. I'm going to wipe all these out again, and I'll build my formula from scratch again. So it's equals 150. Now I know I want to lock down D, and I'm on D45 in my formula. Let's use that F4 key. Watch what happens. Hit it once, locks down the column and the row. Hit it twice, it's locking down the row, but not the column. We don't want that for the total. So we hit F4 again, and it goes to D45. Perfect. Multiply it by the discount. Now what do we have to do here? We have to lock down E43. So just hit F4 until there's the $sign in front of 43 and not one in front of E. Click OK. And now you can even use the autofill handle to make it go down. I lost the formatting, so let's go back and do it the other way. Let's do copy, and now I can just go here and paste special formulas. Done. Perfect. And if we make this table bigger or deeper, we've got the right formula in there that's always going to help us get the right math in our discount grid. All right, that's absolute referencing. Let's see you on the next one.